All right. Good morning. Welcome to this June 25th of 2025 Board of Sanitary Commissioners meeting. If you'd all please join me in rising and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All sanitary commissioners are present today. We'll move into our public comment period. Those wishing to make public comment, please limit that to 3 minutes. If they would like to speak, they may approach the podium, state their name, and make whatever comments they wish.
Rick Yenser, newsman and author, came here to speak about land and water today. And of course, the sanitary district's chief job is to keep water clean and safe. I noticed about a month ago that you went out and borrowed millions to keep the water safe, but you didn't mention that you wanted to, I think the doc said, of almost $280 million over the next 10 years. And I noticed too that you're still carrying a huge debt from previous administration is about $168 million. That $168 million is bigger than any debt that I see in government, schools, or any other tax district. And I want you to be careful about spending more money. We also saw, I think it's in the minutes here from the other day, that you're still talking about charging people twice to pick up their trash. Now, I've covered the district. I've been around here a half century. I remember when the district was created in 1965 to consolidate both trash pickup and also sewage utility. And no time in that 60-some years if you had to go out and get more money. Well, I've got news for you. We put something up on one of our platforms with thousands of engagements and a couple hundred comments that said no. You're making the wrong decision to jump into just whatever the state did to cut money because of tax relief. You need to wait because, again, I'll tell you, like I'm going to tell a couple other governments, this is a base year for tax assessment. The tax values go up, the assessed values go up automatically. People are yelling about 25 to 50% increases in their land, their homes, their business values, their farm values. I think you need to wait. $1 million to a utility and a tax district that spends way over $20 million a year isn't that big a deal. So again, if you think that bunch of church people that came in here when you changed the sewage rates, raised them last year and went from water to base, you think that's an angry mob. You'll see another angry mob if you're going to charge people a service fee on top of property taxes they're already paying. So, hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Yenser. Are there any others wishing to speak in public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to the consideration of our June 11th, 2025 board minutes. Is there any commissioner who would like to make a motion in regards to approving those?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
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 Hearing none opposed, the board minutes for the June 11th, 2025 meeting are hereby approved. We will move into our consideration of the register of claims totaling $403,190.18. Are there any commissioners who would like to comment on the register of claims? This is a pretty light one for us, honestly.
Nothing.
Seeing none, would any sanitary commissioner like to make a motion in regards to the claims?
Motion to approve claims.
And
Second.
having a motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, register of claims is approved. We will go on to District Administrator update with Mr. Rick Conrad.
Good morning. Rick Conrad, District Administrator. Just a couple of traffic notes today. Amherst is finished, so we're out of the Amherst area, and we will have some work going on College between White River Boulevard and Jackson. So there may be some road closures today and maybe tomorrow. Should be relatively short. Wanted to mention the storms we had last Wednesday. I think anybody who, if you were fortunate enough to not have any trees down in your yard, you probably still saw them in other places, like along the levee. We've got most of the levee trees removed through a contract with Coops, but it's going to take some time before we get all of the trees removed throughout the rest of the city. There really are scattered basically everywhere throughout the city. So we're asking people to be patient with us. We will get to them, though. The only things we ask for that is that you pull them to the edge of the street and that your piles are no longer than 8 feet long and that you have no limbs that are greater than 6 inches in diameter because the equipment can't safely remove that. So again, we're going to be working and getting some overtime to make sure that that gets done as quickly as we can. But be patient with us, we will get to you. And then as we continue to talk about at the board meetings, earlier this year, Senate Enrolled Act 1 is going to be a continuing issue for us this year. I'll make a couple of points because we have received a lot of questions about this and some misunderstandings about what may be happening. First, I'll point out that sanitation department is completely funded through taxes. We know that with the changes that this funding is going to decrease, we have an anticipated shortfall of about 5% this year, and then that's going to increase incrementally over the remaining years. We're not sure yet, though, exactly what that amount's going to be. We think that the DLGF will have a number for us in the next couple of months. How we address that, though, there's really nothing imminent at this point. We are considering billing for services, but we are nowhere near having any numbers. Again, without knowing precisely what we'll be looking at, we're looking at a long process, so this is really just a matter of us trying to be transparent. As we get this information, we're sharing it with the public so they know that we are considering it already and looking into it, but I think it's going to be at least fall of this year before we have a better idea of what we might want to do in the future. A lot of people will ask us to give rough numbers, and I don't even think we can do that right now. I don't think it would be helpful for us to guess until we get a better idea of the situation we're going to be in. We will continue to provide updates, though, either through the board meetings or we will post them on our website or through Facebook. And with that, that is my list of updates. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to field them.
Thank you, Mr. Conrad. Mr. Clark?
So back to billing, how it works, wastewater is paid through a monthly bill that our customers pay, correct?
Correct.
And sanitation is through property tax.
The property tax is right.
So I think earlier it was mentioned that there's a double charge, or we're looking at a double charge, and I think that we need to be clear that that's not at all. Right now, sanitation is paid through the property tax.
Those fees do not mix, correct?
And if there is a sizable deduction in it, then we, as a board, have to look at the future and what that may mean for revenue reductions. I mean, we've had a focus on the past 3 years on cost savings day to day, and even with the bond that was spoken of, looking at those projects and making sure that those cost savings initiatives are included in future projects as well. So right now it's an analysis, and there has been no decision on going to a monthly paid rate in lieu or as an alternative to the property tax funding for sanitation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Mr. Selby?
I appreciate what you have to say. I think you answered the question about trash pickup perfectly. We don't know. Thank you.
Mr. Overton?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate for any misunderstanding that's out there that there are no plans to immediately do anything. This is all exploratory. And there is a good chance next session that some of the issues in SB 1 will be revisited by the legislature. So what they've already done has not been analyzed. We don't know the full effect on our budget. We'll find that out later this year. And then once we find that out, they could change it again next session. So there's just a lot of questions up in the air, but there is no imminent, immediate plan to charge for trash pickup at this time. We're just exploring all of our options and trying to do best by the community we're trying to serve.
Thank you, Mr. Overton. Mr. Smith?
Oh, I think those two guys have covered everything that need to be said. Thank you.
I'll leave off the dead horse beating. Thank you, Mr. Conrad. Let's see, there are no department head updates for this meeting. There is no old business shown on the agenda. Mr. Clark, any old business?
No business, thank you.
Mr. Selvey?
I have nothing.
Mr. Overton?
No.
Mr. Smith?
No, thank you.
None for me as well. We'll move into our new business. The first item is consideration of task order number 1 with American Structure Point for CSO 7. CSO 7, for reference to the general community, is basically Wheeling and River Road, Riverside? Yeah, that general area. Mr. Conrad, would you like to speak on this item?
Yes, so this task order, this has kind of been discussed throughout the year because it's influencing the ban that we're anticipating. These projects, this project and the one that's following it, are related to long-term control plan, and this is the unfunded mandate from the state that's requiring us to address our combined sewer overflows. These are not optional. This is work that we are being mandated to do. The first task order here from American Structure Point is for the design and engineering of this work. The construction will come later. The total on task order number 1 is $1.5 million. And again, that is addressing CSO 7. And if there are any questions on this one, I'd be happy to address those as well.
All right. Mr. Clark, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Selvey?
I have none.
Mr. Overton?
Just for the public, the sewage and the street runoff go together, and sometimes they go into the river. And so the EPA is telling us we have to fix this by 2030. And so that's what we're doing with this process. As far as the bonds and such, we have to take that out because we are being told by the national government and the state this must be done. So this is a no choice on our part, and we are trying to do it responsibly that'll serve our community for many years to come. Unfortunately, in earlier times, people thought it was just fine to let the river be flooded with sewage, and that's how our system was built. But we're having to separate it out so that it goes to the treatment plant, which is good for everybody. It's just going to cost a lot of money. But I appreciate Rick spearheading all this and doing such a wonderful job.
Mr. Smith?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Yep. Just, let's see, make sure I look at the right one. CSO 7 is that general wheeling area. So this is a separation project. It will have road restoration, that type of thing that goes along with it. Pretty straightforward. That's really all I have on it. So with no other comments pending, would anyone like to, just for record, we have an existing contract with American Structure Point. They went through a selection process. This is just adding a task order to that existing project, so that's all covered under a professional services agreement betwixt them. So this sets the funds for that. So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, task order number 1 with American Structure Point for CSO 7 is approved. All right, Mr. Conrad, item 2, consideration of task order number 2 with American Structure Point for CSO 23.
All right. Task order number 2 is nearly identical. It's just taking place in the area of CSO 23. This one's, the outfall is actually on Buck Creek, but the process and the description of the project is generally the same. This is for design and engineering services to come up with a plan to basically alleviate and separate those storm sewers from the actual sanitary sewer lines. The lump sum fee for this project is $1 million, and the hope for both of these projects is we've kind of chosen efficiently where we can do improvements at the treatment plant versus separation throughout the system, and I think both of these are going to be much more efficient, alleviate a lot of the stress on our treatment plant. So again, if you have any questions about this project, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you, Mr. Conrad. Mr. Clark?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Selby?
I have none.
Mr. Overton?
No questions?
Mr. Smith?
No questions.
And just for a note, CSO 23 is basically in the area of Hoyt Avenue and 17th. This is an area that's been known for some stormwater problems, so hopefully this design will actually provide some additional relief as well as, meeting some of our regulatory goals. With that said, I will take a motion on task order number 2 with American Structure Point.
Motion to approve task order number 2.
And I will second. Having a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
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 Hearing none opposed, task order number 2 with Structure Point is approved. All right, item 3, resolution 2025-08. This is an interlocal agreement between the Muncie Redevelopment Commission and MSD. I will speak about this item. So, as is somewhat common amongst utilities, traditionally, one of the best ways to add additional revenues to utility is to add additional customers. The Muncie Redevelopment Commission is essentially in the business of adding customers for MSD. Generally, we find that the life cycle of a residential structure is somewhere between about 50 and 75 years. Some last a little longer, some last less long, but that's generally the average. And to basically help MRC in their task of adding residential and adding business, they've requested that we enter into this agreement to essentially help provide some funding on the front end by foregoing some of our fees that we would collect for sewer to them during this period. So that's usually about $30 per residential unit. Being that we're basically adding on to our customer base through these types of agreements, the board has elected through general discussion to provide up to basically $1 million in, foregone payments. The district essentially doesn't lose anything. The cost of treatment, everything else already being baked into the system. MRC gets some additional funds to, keep developing new housing and bring new business into the area. Relatively low risk to the district and helps get some projects kind of over the hump, so to speak. So that's kind of the gist of the agreement. If I've missed anything, anyone's free to chime in, but I think I will leave it there. Mr. Clark?
Initial capital for projects, I see it as, and then once the project is complete, sewage billing will resume as normal, so we're not foregoing an actual bill for
Correct.
5 years, but we're putting the capital up front, and then we'll be paid back.
Yes,
And it's a cap of 1 million?
that is correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Selby?
I have nothing.
Mr. Overton?
You did very well, thank you.
Mr. Smith?
I have no comment. That's great.
All right. Well, with no further comment, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second motion?
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, resolution 2025-08, interlocal agreement between Muncie Redevelopment Commission and MSD is approved. Next, we will move into item number 4, a purchase agreement for 904 North Penn. Mr. Conrad?
This purchase agreement is for the property at 904 North Penn. As mentioned, this house is currently in the floodplain. It is behind a levee, but to restore that levee to Army Corps standards, I believe our estimate was exceeding $3 million, and it's getting close to somewhere near 7 to protect what ended up being about 20 homes. So over time, as these homes have come up for sale on the market, the district has been purchasing them and demolishing them so that they can be removed from the floodplain, and then we don't have to spend those millions of dollars on upgrading the levee in this section. The sale price on this home was $15,000. We received 2 broker price opinions The average of those was $6,450. So that is the offer we have made to the current owner, and they will accept contingent upon approval by the board today.
Thank you, Mr. Conrad. Mr. Clark, any questions?
This house was on the market, correct?
This house was on the market.
And we're not forcing anyone from their home for any reason,
We did
correct?
not. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Selvey?
And I guess to amplify what Aaron's saying, the property is distressed and it is not occupied.
I believe it's
That's-
definitely not been inhabited. I believe it had been condemned.
Okay.
Mr. Overton?
I support.
Mr. Smith?
I can support this.
Thank you for the great synopsis on this. With that said, I will entertain a motion for the purchase agreement for 904 North Penn. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second motion.
Second.
Have a motion and approval with Mr. Smith. Sorry to cut you out there, Mr. Clark.
It's okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, purchase agreement is approved. Next, we have approval of Keystone contract, and our finance director, Ms. Dina Cox, will tell us all about it.
Hi, Dina Cox, Financial Manager. I'm just here to ask the board for approval for the new Keystone contract. We currently have one now. This is just, basically they're upgrading our billing system. It's going into a cloud base. So it'll just be better in the future-wise, receiving payments, billing purposes, anything like that. So I'm just asking the board for the approval to sign off on the contract.
Thank you, Dina. Mr. Clark, any questions?
So our current agreement is around $28,000 a month that we have with them. Is this just the increase of $8,000 for the streamlined services, or will this be this $36,000? This is an annual payment.
$36,000 will be an annual payment. Currently, our annual payment's about $9,000, but this does get rid of invoice cloud, which is about $6,000 a month.
Okay.
They will do our payments for us. It's kind of the same thing, but we don't have to pay invoice
So
cloud.
invoice cloud.
We will
third
have a
parties
monthly
take away.
payment, because we're still going to be set up on ACH.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Selvey?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Overton?
I'm glad to see the upgrade.
Mr. Smith?
I think it's upgraded the service well, so yes.
And I'll pitch in on that. So $6,000 a month at 12 months is about $72,000 a year. So that would be an estimated savings. The total of this was, let me find it. Dina, do you know it off the top of your head?
Approximate total would be $75,000, but
That's your
it's in 3 different payments. If it gets approved, we'll pay $1,000 after it gets approved. The second payment will be the annual fee. The third payment is a rough estimate of $38,000, but that's with the program and the training. So it just depends on how much training we need.
So essentially revenue neutral in the first year and potentially savings in additional years.
Right.
That feel correct to you?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dina. All right. If there are no other questions from my fellow commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I will second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Hearing none opposed, the Keystone contract is approved. We'll now move into our additional board topics. Mr. Clark,
No additional board topics, Mr. President.
Mr. Selby,
None.
Mr. Overton,
Not today.
Mr. Smith.
Nothing additional today.
I'll just say a few things. I appreciate all our departments showing up for the touch truck. It's always a good event. It was well attended. Free food, free stuff for the kids. It's a great way to get our folks out there and exposed to the community because, we do service the community, so it's nice to always give a little something back to them. Thank you, Jason, for getting the trash cans out on time. Bureau of Water Quality showed up with the fish, so, the things that we were doing to improve water quality is obviously working because there's more species of fish in the river than there have ever been. Obviously, engineering and sewer maintenance was out there with all the fun stuff that they do and their equipment, so. The only person not representing was Tim, because all he's got is a pickup, and, there's only so much you can do with that, or SUV, sorry. Don't wanna short you, Tim. Dina paid for most of the stuff, so good job, Dina. It's, really takes a group effort, and, just a small thing that we can do for the community that's absolutely free, and there's not a whole lot of those things left in society in general. So, that said, appreciate all the departments that worked on that, and I'll give a little shout out to Rich Ivy, as is my habit of, at least calling somebody out. Rich has been really doing some yeoman's work on the backside of our HR processes, and he's solving problems before they're problems, and that's invaluable. So, good job, Rich. Don't let your head get any bigger. We can't find a hat to fit that. So, all right. With that said, we'll move to adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, everyone have a great day.